Okay, so guys, yay! So I'm pretty much excited to be here. All right, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Okay, awesome. So before we kickstart, I just want to give a quick shout out to Ragav and the entire NGO we listen to, and you guys are doing amazing. Like, it's so selfless of you to create a platform whereby people having mental health challenges can reach out and just get their questions answered. Yeah, so that's that. Thumbs up, guys. You guys are doing amazing. Okay, so I really want this to be as impactful as possible, so I'm not going to stretch it for too long. To get my points across, and then yeah, that would be it. Okay. All right. So my name is Christabel Ikpen. Like I said earlier, I'm a transformational speaker, certified life coach, author, and a mental health advocate. So you'll be wondering, why mental health advocate? Like, why am I in that space? Why do I really care about mental health? So my story is actually very long, but I'm going to make it as short as possible. So I suffered from depression for a very long time. I kind of like battled with depression back and forth, from when I was a child to my early adults. And it was very difficult for me because there was really no one to talk to, right? Where I am staying, which is Lagos, Nigeria, when you talk about mental health, people look at you and like, oh, you have food, you have a good job, you have a partner, your life should be perfect, right? But then they don't understand that it goes deeper than that. So I suffered from, I have had to go through the challenge of, coming out of that space of mediocrity. So when I was finally able to do that, I looked back and I asked myself, how can I give back, to the society? How can I help people that, are probably in my shoes and they really don't have anyone to talk to? So that made me kind of like write a book, which is that's my first official book. Yeah, so I titled it Freedom. Was more like a blueprint, my journey on overcoming depression, and the feedback from the book was massive. I really didn't envision that there were a lot of people suffering in silence, and that kind of like just opened a whole new path for me, as a mental health advocate. But prior to that, I am a transformational speaker. I also have my 9 to 5 job. So yeah, that's how I fell in love with mental health, basically. Okay, so that aside, we're going to talk about we're going to talk about empowering strategies to fight cravings. And that topic was actually because of the era we're at right now, which is the pandemic era. So it's really, really, if you ask me, it's actually a very valid topic because there are a lot of people that, especially before the ease of the lockdown. So now all over the world, people are gradually, coming to terms with what's happening, and they are finding ways to live with the pandemic. But then when it started, it was really hard. A lot of people really didn't know what to do with themselves. I mean, you're practically stuck at home with relatives that maybe you don't even like, maybe you're stuck with a partner that you're 9 to 5. So because I run a 9 to 5 job, most times, I'm out of the house and then I come back home, I'm tired and exhausted. I don't really have that time to sit and, listen to your BS. But when I'm stuck at home with you, it's a new ball game entirely. So a lot of people really didn't know what to do with it, right? So COVID just surprised us. I remember when I was, I think it was New Year's Day, I was pretty much excited, after the whole Happy New Year, hugging family and friends. I had a lot of things planned for the year. And then COVID happened. So it was more like it rained on my parade, and I think it rained on almost everybody's parade because we all had one thing or the other that we really wanted to do. So yeah, so that's COVID, it happened. But now we are faced with it, like, how do we move from this point? How do we still stay creative? How do we still, get to do the things that we've lined up for the year without actually, losing out on so many things, right? So, but that said, I think with COVID, one thing about the human race is we are kind of like we really adapt to things. Yeah. So, in as much as COVID happened, I mean, look at the world. We are looking for ways to, deal with it. So that's the good thing about humans. That's what makes the species different from that of probably other, lower animals, like let's say the lion and the dogs, for example, because they really don't have that foresight, but we do as humans, we have the foresight. So that means we can adapt to almost anything that, that comes to us, as long as we are able and as long as we are flexible enough. That shouldn't be a problem. So prior to the lockdown, I won't say I was, because I'm still a huge fan of KFC. And one of the things I loved, of course, their chicken. So yummy. If you're a vegetarian in the house, I'm so sorry, yeah, but chicken is big, and I really loved KFC. And I remember the beginning of the lockdown, actually, I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh, Bella, how are you going to survive this? How do you function without KFC? And so when my dad even told me about, his love for KFC, I was like, oh, I'm glad that, I'm not in this alone. There are a lot of people with different cravings, some healthy, some not healthy, but let's focus on the healthy cravings for now. Yeah. They were kind of like torn in between. How do they move from this phase to the next phase, right? So that's why I'm here to share more light on the strategies that I employed that, really helped me overcome my cravings, some of my cravings, to put it light. Okay, so I would start by, getting something out pretty fast, which is, I call it the mindset game. I'm meant to share some slides, so I think this is the time to share. So let me see if I can do that. So let me share my screen. Oh, okay, I can't share. Okay, so I'll just do that nonetheless. Okay, so one of the things I would like to, push out first is the mindset. You can't downplay your mindset. So, because the saying that whatever the mind can conceive, it can achieve. Yeah, that's very, very true. Because if you think something is, you're capable of doing a particular thing, then you will go through with it. But if you're thinking in your mind that, oh, this is not going to be possible, if you think that, oh, I'm not going to achieve this, guess what? The universe would work in its favor, right? So there's one thing I want you to understand, that whatever you're going through, it all depends on your mindset. So earlier on, I mentioned my case with KFC. I already had that mindset that I wouldn't function properly without KFC. I mean, maybe like in a week or two. And it was really tough. But then I had to realize that that's not true. Like I had configured my mind to think that, okay, awesome. So I've configured my mind to think that, you know what, without KFC, Bella can't function. So that's the truth I started living. And that was actually very false, because, hey, guess what? 2 months in, and I'm still functioning, right? So mindset is everything. Mindset is everything. If you have a whack mindset, then I'm sorry, like, it's going to affect your overall productivity. So let me try to share my screen and see if I can come up with my slide. Host disabled participant sharing screen. Raghav, I still can't share. Please help out. Okay, so that's that. So the next thing is sorting your mindset. So the first step in fighting your cravings is actually to sort your mindset. So what are you telling yourself about that thing you're craving for? Have you said in your heart of hearts that, oh, I can't function without this? Have you said, oh, maybe Surab, have you said in your heart that I don't think I can function properly without taking a smoke? Or I don't think I can function properly without what else? Probably eating or something. Like, what have you configured your mind to believe? Because that's what your reality is actually telling. Yeah, so you need to work on your mindset. That's the first one. And then second one is talking about food cravings. Now the second is staying hydrated, right? So studies have shown that up to 60% of the human adult body is made up of water. So what does that mean? That means humans are generally wired to want water. But then water is boring. I mean, I don't see myself just sitting down and taking 3 glasses of water and like feeling fly. I would prefer probably taking margarita, probably taking lemon juice or lemonade, to feel better, right? But that's not what the body needs. So most times people confuse thirst with hunger, but there's a hack to this, and I really just discovered this during the lockdown, and it has done wonders for me, especially with my food cravings. So when I feel hungry, I take a glass of water and give myself like a span of like an hour. And then after 1 hour, if I still feel hungry, so after so after one okay, so after 1 hour, if I still feel hungry, I know that, oh, I, I am really hungry, not like I'm confusing thirst with hunger. So if you're, a foodie like me, and you really want to take water, so you're always, craving for food, try that out. Like anytime you feel hungry, first off, take water, chill for like an hour, and then if you still feel hungry, then you can go ahead to take food, right? Okay, so that's by the way. Okay, so that's another way you can actually curb cravings. That's one strategy that works wonders. Trust me. Yeah. Okay, so another thing is, there's a popular saying here that it says, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So that means when you're idle, a lot of things, come to mind. So prior to the lockdown, I run a 9 to 5 job. I coach clients. I have my own personal stuff that I'm doing. I have my own, roles to perform at home and so many things. And one thing I kind of realized is I really didn't have that much free time. So I wasn't really craving. But then during the lockdown, I think I had so much time at my disposal. So I had, so many things. I would finish up my office work on time. I would, schedule calls with my clients. And after that, I'm like, okay, what next? And then there comes the cravings, right? So what does it say? Like, you need to stay active. You need to stay creative, right? So if you're idle, most likely, and this is it, most likely, anytime you're idle, that's when you get these cravings. Like, you can't be deep in probably an activity and then it just pops to you that, oh, you haven't taken probably Cold Stone ice cream in a very long time. That's very rare. I'm not saying it won't happen, but it's very rare. And that's because your mind is busy, your brain is busy, your whole being is busy. So there's no space for any foreign thing to come in, right? So you need to stay active, you need to stay creative. So don't be caught, probably just in a session or doing nothing, right? Keep yourself busy. I don't know if we'd have the opportunity to have the compulsory leave, as I tagged the lockdown as a compulsory leave because I still got paid, but I had to spend time with friends and family. I don't know when that would happen again. So it's best you make good use of this opportunity. I think it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. 5-15 years from now, you won't be with your parents, you'll be probably doing your own thing. Some of you might have your own family. So make the very best of the lockdown period. So get creative. I have a kid sister, and this has been like the goofiest months in our lives because we play around, we joke around, we dance around the house. I just to my parents, and we're all fine. So stay creative. If you're not creative, get a book and read. Right? Okay. And then the next thing is that would help with your cravings is the power of daydreaming. So I don't know if I've mentioned this, but like a travel addict. I love traveling. I love, meeting new people. I love trying new food. I love, experiencing different culture. And I think the first international trip I ever went on was to Mumbai, and that was in 2013. So the plan was to fall in love with my Indian prince and then, settle down. but that didn't happen. Okay, the light and but that didn't happen. But I noticed that after that trip, I really had that hunger to travel. And so 2019, towards the end of 2019, I had everything, I renewed my passport, I saved up some money, and I'm like, Bella, 2020, you're going to travel, you're going to, explore. Like, why am I making all this money? I'm not just going to make money and then keep it in the bank. I need to live while I can, basically. And so COVID happened. So one of the places I really wanted to see was in Benin Republic. It's a beach resort, Casa de Palpa. Very beautiful, and it's, close by me. Nigeria, Benin Republic is, just some hours away by road. And when COVID happened, I planned the trip for April, I think late March or early April, I really can't remember. And so when COVID happened, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is terrible, and there are days that I'll be on my bed, I'll be like, oh, I should be in Casa de Palpa now, I should be, having the time of my life, trying new food, experiencing the nightlife and being all happy and the lights, but I wasn't having it. So what did I do? I immediately started daydreaming. And you know, people would think that, oh, that's very cliche, you know, that's yeah, why would you say daydreaming? Are you trying to tell me to you know, close my eyes and pretend to be where I'm not? Yes, that's what I'm asking of you. You know, so if you're craving something more like, for me, you know, I was really craving to be in Casa de Papa. So I'll be on my bed and I'll close my eyes and I'm daydreaming that, oh, I'm, you know, on the beach with my bikini, toned body, sipping margarita, enjoying the view to the ocean. And guess what? I feel better, right? So daydreaming gives you that instant gratification that you might not get, you know, if you're kind of like sulking or being unhappy. Because whether you like it or not, there's a travel ban right now, and we don't know when they are going to lift it. Although I know Germany and some other countries, they are, you know, working tirelessly to make sure that everything goes to normal. But that would take a while. So while we're at that, you need to look for ways to, you know, kind of like help yourself, and that's what I did, and that's what the dreaming does for me. Yeah. So I don't know if you've read this Anne Frank's book, where I think it was during the Holocaust, where, you know, she was more like a lockdown with her family. And I think one thing that really helped that was also the power of daydreaming. And this is it, guys. The mind really can't tell the difference between what is real and what is not real. So that's why you would have a nightmare, you're on your bed, and then you wake up startled, you're sweating, sometimes you're crying, but then you're on your bed, like you're not in that situation. That's because the mind really can't tell the difference. So I need you to use that to your advantage, right? I need you to understand this principle and then, you know, let it work for you, basically. And then I think discipline also goes a long way, because I would be mentioning at the end of this session that there is actually a thin line between addiction and cravings, right? So when it comes to addiction, you don't have control. It's like you really can't help it. And if you're at that stage or at this stage, I would really, really, really plead with you to see an expert, right? Because nothing should control you. You're in control. This is your body. This is your mind. You're in control of everything that happens to you, not the other way around. So that's the thin line between addiction and cravings. While cravings is, oh, yes, you want this thing, but hey, you can still decide to put it off, or if you don't have it right now, you're not going to die. Yeah, you can still work with it. Okay, so this brings me to the most important question of all, which is, I need you to sit back and ask yourself that, do you really need the things you're craving for, right? So like I said earlier, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, you probably have that dream job, you get married to that dream partner by the grace of God, you have that beautiful house, you have the money you want. Would you want like a major health challenge to be something that would take all the fairy tale away from you? You wouldn't want that. You wouldn't want to battle with diabetes. You wouldn't want to battle with what's it called, lung cancer. You wouldn't like. So you have to sit down and analyze your cravings and be like, okay, is this worth it? If it's worth it for you, by all means, go ahead. But if it's not, then you really need to sit down and consider and be like, okay, maybe better I need to take a chill pill. I need to really, you know, analyze and see what goes well for me. So for me, eating KFC is really no big deal as long as I don't eat it, you know, 24/7, right? But, you know, taking a smoke might be pretty much harmful in the long run. You understand? And, you know, with those other crazy habits that you have, so cravings that you have. So this is where I would need you to take your time. It may not be now when you're, you know, alone, your quiet time. Ask yourself these questions. These things I'm craving for, are they really important? Like, are they really going to contribute to my life? Are they really going to, you know, make me a better person? And are they zapping my money? You get, because the truth is, with the lockdown, people say, oh, they've not been able to achieve, but I've been able to save more, right? So those are the things that you should really, you know, focus on right now. It's not really about the you know, the immediate gratification. You have to think about, you need to have the end in mind. And so that's that about it. And so one last thing, you know, you have to, when you're having cravings, most times all you need is just to relax and cool off. You know, relax and cool off. Don't take anything. Don't beat yourself up. Don't think that the world is crashing on you. Remember, like the whole world is in this. We're all in this together, and we'll definitely get out of this together. So you don't need to be too hard on yourself. So when you're feeling the pangs, the cravings and all, you just need to relax, and it'll pass. Yeah, it'll pass by. So thank you so much. I don't know. I think it was 20 minutes on the dot. So thank you guys. I don't know if you have questions. We could have your questions before we call it a day. So yeah, thank you so much, guys. Okay, so do we have any questions? Okay, awesome. Welcome. Okay, so yeah, please can post your questions. Okay, so Javina asked, how do we overcome fear of future? I think the thing is, having the fear of future is something that we all battle with, because I battle with that, for everybody battles with the fear of the future. But I think you need to understand that the future is the future. You're not there yet. So you need to enjoy what you have now. So you need to stay in the present, right? And not think too much of what's going to be in the future. So this is what works for me. I know where I want to be 20 years from now or 30 years from now. I want to be retired, traveling the world with my family, and just living that baby girl life. So what I do is I take baby steps towards achieving those dreams. So every day I try to do something that would lead me closer to my future goal. But I don't beat myself up every morning and I'm like, oh, I don't know what the future holds. Am I going to be miserable? No, I don't do that. I really try to enjoy the moment. Because life is very fragile. Life is very fragile, and that's just it. So you really need to enjoy what you have, and the future will take care of itself as long as you're making plans and you're being strategic about it. So I hope that answered your question, Javina. Someone said, can you share a strategy on developing new habits? So it takes 21 days to break an old habit, right? So for me, using a very practical example, I used to have this issue of I would snap easily. And that's because I suffered from anxiety for a very long time, was part of my anxiety and depression. I suffered from that for a very long time, since when I was 6. So like, I really don't appreciate people, just surprising me. Yeah. So what I did was I started journaling, and I started being, I started being deliberate about it. So I would, journal and be like, okay, day 1, this is how I'm feeling, right? These are the things that, I want to do, right? Okay, I want to move from probably snapping at people to being more understanding. And so, like I said, the mindset thing. So I kind of like engraved that in my mindset, and that was what really worked, for me in, fighting, developing new habits. But really, it takes 21 days to break an old habit and, get a new one. But then, trust me, it took more than 21 days for me, because, I would do something and then I would go back and I'm like, oh, geez, and I'll start all over. But don't give up on yourself. And like I said, don't be too hard on yourself, right? Okay. So someone said, okay, any suggestions for fighting depression? Yeah, have a heart of gratitude. That works for me a million times, because a depressed person really feels like nothing is working for them. A depressed person feels like the whole world is against them, but that's really a big lie. So when I was going through depression, one of the things that really kind of like confused me was I felt I was very unlucky. I felt I was, cheated. I felt like, oh, why wasn't I born in a different era? Or why am I not having the very best? Why can't I just pick my luggages and fly? You understand? But I forgot the little blessings I have. I mean, I have my eyes, I have my nose, I can function while I have my legs. I have friends that would die for me. I have, a job, I have money in my account. So I found out that I really was ungrateful. Yeah, so having a heart of gratitude is one major way to fighting depression. You know, just look for those little things to be thankful for. Every morning you wake up and you're like, oh Lord, you know, whatever religion you are, and you're like, I'm thankful for the fact that I am alive, because, you know, once there is life, there is hope. So how can we keep away from the helplessness that we're involved in due to our inability to help the ones suffering around us? Okay, I think this is it. I have friends, or being a mental health advocate, I tend to, you know, talk to people a lot who are depressed. And I think one of the things I make them understand is I'm always going to be here for you regardless. So whenever you're ready to talk, I'm going to be here. So so you really don't, I know it can be tricky. I know it's like you want this person to be happy, you want this person to have the very best of everything, but then it's like, oh, nothing is happening yet. The person is down and you're not happy because you love the person, you care about the person. But most times you need to learn to back down a bit and just tell them that you're going to be here for them regardless. And you know, once they have that trust in you, that does the magic. So how to overcome overthinking and how to build a strong concept, because I always doubt myself. So let me tell you this, you're the best version of you. There's never going to be anybody but you, right? Nobody has your same fingerprints in the whole world. Like, we're about how many billion, and nobody looks like you. Nobody talks like you. Nobody's as amazing as you. So you really don't have any reason to doubt yourself. You're the best version of you. And I want you to never forget that. So yeah, that's Javina. So how to deal with our fears? Confront your fears. And fears in itself, they are not bad. I feel if you're scared of something, that's because there's really something bigger. So what you're scared of, I need you to confront it. So before writing my book, I felt like, oh, when I push out my book, are people going to, you know, laugh and be like, oh, what does she know? Like, you know, but then I went ahead and confronted my fears, and I saw that, well, it wasn't really as bad as I thought. So confront your fears. How do you, that's Anjali Gupta, yeah. So how to deal with a boss who consistently puts you down by humiliating and cause the self-confidence to degrade. So this is it. This is it, guys. You're not obliged, or you're not obligated to, you know, submit yourself to, what's it called, to any form of unfairness. You have a choice. Do you understand? You have a choice. So if someone is putting you down, I think you need to speak for yourself, not in a rude way, but you need to speak for yourself. Because once you don't speak, you're kind of like fueling it. So they're still going to do more. They're still going to attack you. They're still going to belittle you. So you need to stand up for yourself and be like, okay, you know what? This is it. I'm not going to take this anymore. My first job, I worked there for 2 years, and my group leader was very toxic. I left the job. And that's the best decision I ever made, like one of the best decisions I've made in my life, right? So don't feel like, oh, there's really nothing you can do about it. Okay, so yeah. So I'll just take 2 more, guys. So are there some strategies to control the urges of TV series over other important tasks, like studying? So what I do is, what I did, because I was really a huge fan of the Vampire Diaries and, you know, some Riverdale and the likes. So what I do is I make sure that I have an accountability partner, whereby I can't watch an episode not until I'm done with my school work or studying. You understand? And then I want you to understand that these guys are making their money. These guys are doing things that will bring them money. So their future, they're working for their future. Are you working for your future? You need to work for your future. And studying would give you the future that you desire. So wait, so which is more important? Of course, studying is more important, right? So that would work. Okay, so how to be consistent with building a new habit. By the way, it was a great session. Oh, thank you, Parisha Gupta. So how to be consistent while building a new habit? I would say you would, you know, fail 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, but don't give up. You know, keep striving for what you want, and don't let anyone tell you that you can't do it regardless. And have an accountability partner. You know, someone who believes in you and someone who wants the best for you, that can keep you accountable. Okay, so ma'am, that's amazing. Yes, there's a need to admire yourself in these critical times, since many of the people are worried about what they are going to have in future. Many of my colleagues are worried about what other person is doing. This is time to explore yourself. Perfectly, Pooja. You're so correct. Like, I feel you're your greatest cheerleader. I mean, most times people won't even cheer for you. So you need to understand your value. You need to understand that You need to understand that, you know, everything is working for you. You need to understand that where you are right now, it's not where you're going to be forever. And so you need to carry yourself with that grace and courage. I don't want to see anybody, you know, feeling all bitter and like, oh, life is wearing me down. No, you're amazing, you're perfect. You know, carry yourself with that courage, you know, with that charisma, because it's the way you carry yourself that other people will view you, right? So if you see that you're of less value, people will treat you like trash. But if you carry yourself and you're like, oh, you know what, I'm all that, people would start seeing you as such. Okay, ma'am, can we connect, or do you have any blogs? So I'm actually revamping my website, but you can connect to me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Christabel Ikpen. So yeah, guys, I think that's all we have. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. So thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. All the best. And I'm rooting for you. Be kind to one another. It's very important. Have empathy and be your neighbor's keeper, right? God bless you.